Hi, everybody. I'm Dan from The Upside Dan.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shawn from Lost in the Reel, and today we are doing a spoiler review and discussion for
A Quiet Place Part 2.
Shh. Okay, Dan, so let's just jump right into this. And remember, guys, this is a spoiler review and discussion for A Quiet Place Part 2. So if you haven't seen the film, don't watch this. Dan, let's get started. And what do you think about this film compared to the first?
I think that if you loved the first one, I think you're going to really like this one. If I love this one, pretty much the same, okay. I think. What did you think?
So compared to the first film, I like it a little less, and we'll go into that why. I still love the film. I think it's absolutely incredible. There are a couple of things that really held it back for me, and I think that does have to do with the fact that I feel like this is very much so the second film in a trilogy, because I feel like John Krasinski has more stories to tell in this universe, and it kind of left me in a place where I'm like, okay, that was it? What do you think about it?
I see where you're coming from. It kind of, even the ending of this had the same, it wasn't the same, but it had the same feeling of the ending of the first one, where Emily Blunt just charges the gun, and then this one ends, how it ended. And then this one ends kind of the same way, just, they've, each of the siblings, defeated one of the monsters that was with them, and then it just ends.
And I really did like the fact that, it's kind of the two kids are taking the reins now, and they're the ones that are killing the monsters. I really did like that. But for some reason, for me, the ending of the first film seemed a little bit more definitive, and it had its place. Whereas this one, to me, just felt very abrupt. And I don't know why that might be, but it just was like, that was it. And that kind of was a little bit of a bummer for me. But I do want to really start out with what I really loved about this film. And I just think that A Quiet Place, both 1 and 2 now, I kept thinking, this is why we watch movies. It's like movie magic in front of our eyes when it comes to a very small, bare-bones story with not a lot of meat to it, but every single piece has its place, and it's done so well. The score, the editing, the amazing performances, the writing even, everything just comes together in a package that is just near perfection.
Yes, I 100% agree pretty much with everything you just said. I think Krasinski's really good at building suspenseful, really terrifying and edge of your seat thrills, and that's a lot of his directing and writing and the shots that he picks and how he segues from one shot to another. I really loved in this one where if Noah Jupe as Marcus was in the safe not being able to breathe, then you get to his sister, she's either in the water or something and she's not able to breathe, and then there's water involved in both, there's fire involved in both. I really liked how he did that in this one. That was one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, the segues to where it was we'd go from Millicent Simmonds' character to Noah Jupe, like you said. The segues into that, it was perfectly thought out. And it really does seem like John Krasinski has a vision, and he's able to translate that so well to the screen. He's
come a long way since playing Jim on The Office, which was amazing, but it just, you never expected him to have these chops inside of him, and he's been doing a really good job.
He has. There's a scene that I want to talk about that I just, there's a lot of scenes in this movie that I was just like, wow, or looked over to my sister and I was like, that was really cool. But there's one when Millicent Simmonds' character, she thinks that Cillian Murphy his character had taken her hearing aid, and she runs out and she can't hear anything, and it's all silence, and she just has a breakdown. First of all, it's just Simmons showing what an incredible actress she is and how much she's grown since the first one. And she's down on the ground, and then all of a sudden her hearing starts to come back, and we can start to hear again as Cillian Murphy's hand touches her head. I just was like, whoa. Like, that was just so well done. So simple, but just perfectly done.
Yes, that was incredible. And yeah, I got a second. Simmons' acting is just really great. She's just grown so much. And she was great in the first one as well, but she's just grown so much. Her and Noah Jupe, I would say.
I completely agree, Noah Jupe, too. I was telling my sister, I think that Noah Jupe is going to be... Like, I know he's still really young and he hasn't done a whole lot, but I can see that kid becoming, staying in the film business and just being one of the greatest actors of his time. He is phenomenal. And one thing I do have to say about Millicent Simmonds, she's amazing, the actress, but her character, and this was the same thing in the first one, her character frustrates me. And she makes decisions, and I know it's to progress the plot, but she just makes some decisions. I just want to be like, damn you, girl.
Yeah, like leaving the vault and going out on her own. Yeah, I agree 100%. She made some questionable, decisions. I also wish Noah Jupe would have told his mom right away.
Right.
When I know we have to have the plot. We have to have the plot move along, so he couldn't. But yeah.
It could have been done in a different way, but I mean, it still worked, but she just irks me a little bit. I want to talk about, this film is a little bit different because the first film, in my opinion, worked so well. We did have John Krasinski's character and Emily Blunt's character separated for a little bit of time in that film. But in this one, the whole family's pretty much split up the entire movie. What are your thoughts on that decision?
So I definitely noticed, and I missed, the family dynamic, because that was something I loved so much in the first one. I will say, though, that a lot of the scenes that we did get, though, anyway, they did make up for that flaw to me, for the most part. I do wish that we were together more with the family, but for the most part, it did make it up. For me, I liked Millicent Simmonds, kind of, she wants to be like her father, and that's kind of her plot. And so you have that kind of dynamic, but yeah, no, they were separated, I think, most of the movie, and I really wanted them together.
Yeah, I felt that during this movie, because what worked so well about the first one and why I think this has been such a runaway success is this family is so believable, and you truly care about these people, and like this whole entire family, and their dynamic and chemistry with each other is so on point that to take that away and have them all separated, I think would have been okay for half of the film, but the fact that it's almost the entirety of it, I was really let down by that. I still love the film once again, but it was one of those things I was like, I really needed them to come together at the end, because they're still, as this film ends, they're still not, like, Millicent Simmonds isn't with their family, so they still haven't come together. So that to me was, it's not like a flaw, but it was more of just kind of like it was disappointing, because I wanted them to have more screen time together.
The family dynamic just works so well. You believe them as a family. Mm-hmm. And I mean, yeah, a lot of that in the first one helps because John Krasinski and Emily Blunt are really married, so it just makes that all the way better, and you wanted more of them. That's why I did like that they opened with that flashback. I thought the opening scene was amazing.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, he did this in the first one. It's like maybe the first one was a little bit shorter, but a scene to really just throw you into this world and grab your attention immediately. I mean, he did it again in this one, and that first 10 minutes or so was just mind blowing.
Yes, and it just felt real. It felt like it was really greatly directed. And I'm from Buffalo, and a lot of the shots in here, especially the opening and the bridges that Cillian Murphy and Millicent Simmonds were on, that's shot a lot around my area, so it was really cool to see all that on screen.
What did you think of Cillian Murphy's character?
I think I liked him a little more as the movie went along. First of all, from the trailers and everything, I wasn't totally sure that he was on the good side. I thought they were going to try to find out something. I thought Noah Jupe, when he went upstairs, I thought he was going to find something that made him think that Cillian Murphy's character was on the bad side. And but I liked him for the most part. I love Cillian Murphy. I think he's a really good actor. Yeah, and I honestly think he's underrated.
Yeah, I really liked his character. I thought that I'm glad that you brought up Noah Jupe going upstairs. I was a little confused about what that whole point was, about how he saw like the dead wife. And I know that he had said that she was sick and that she died. So I guess he just saw her dead body, but that didn't really seem to have a purpose besides showing that she was dead, which we already knew.
Exactly. That's why I thought like it was going to be revealed that he killed his kids and his wife or something.
That's what I was thinking too.
Because then that scene would have had a purpose. But yeah, you're right. That scene really didn't have a purpose other than to get Noah Jupe out of the vault so it'd be suspenseful if he gets back in or not before the monster gets him. Mm-hmm. So they just needed a reason, I think, to get him out of the vault. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. And there's a lot of things about this because it's such a lean film, which I love. I think that there are some moments in this film, like this was just thrown in here to progress the plot without not a lot of purpose. And when I say that, I mean the kind of like the people that were living like on the pier with all the boats. Like they just come out of nowhere. There's like creepy demon little girl. And then like they come in and then they don't have much purpose then, to throw in some kind of conflict with the two characters and then they're gone. And then, we get to the island with Millicent Simmonds, and then we are introduced to Djimon Hounsou's character. I don't know if that's how you pronounce the name. I always say his name. I love that actor, but I'm going to call him Djimon Hounsou. But he's in it for like 3 minutes. He's like a glorified cameo.
And for a minute, I was like, wait, how are these people having fun? How are these people talking? And then I was like, oh, God, they're on the island. And yeah, he was barely in it. And then he kind of made a stupid choice of walking too close to that garage. And yeah.
Yeah, none of what happened on the island until they get into the sound stage, which I want to talk about in a second. But none of what happened on the island really worked for me. I really wanted more. The segue to them being on the island, there wasn't really any. All of a sudden they were there, kind of like you said. And then they bring in Djimon Hounsou's character. He doesn't really have any kind of development. All of a sudden the monsters are on the island. I feel like Krasinski could have added more development of what's going on the island and still have made a lean picture. But I think there needed to be a little bit more there.
Yes, I totally agree. And then back to the people on the pier. First of all, I was like, oh, they're going to use sound against them on the pier. I knew that they were going to do all that. And then, but my only guess is that they put it in there because, remember, Cillian Murphy's like, the only people that survived aren't worth saving. So I think that was maybe just to show that there were people out there that, survived that weren't worth saving. And then, and that was the point where I thought they were going to go a predictable route, like The Walking Dead, how all the humans that they meet are bad, and they're just like evil. But they didn't really go there. They kind of just glossed over that and just for an action scene, basically. And
right.
But I did like that scene. Don't get me wrong. I do agree that it just seemed to go nowhere.
Yeah, or just like a little bit more. Like it was. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like the Millicent Simmonds and Cillian Murphy. It seemed like they went on this long journey and there was so much that happened to them, but it was squeezed and compacted into very short scenes, so we didn't have a lot of development. Whereas what we get with Emily Blunt and Noah Jupe's character, there's not really, like, Noah Jupe, he's injured and he gets stuck in a vault. There's not a lot going on with him. Emily Blunt is going to get some more oxygen, walks by her, her young son's grave. which was a beautiful scene, I think. But there's just not a lot going on with them, and then there's like too much going on with Millicent Simmonds and Cillian Murphy's character. So I don't know. I feel like they needed to even that out a little bit.
Yes, I agree, and I do like that they hid that Noah Jupe got injured, or his character got injured, because that scene shocked me when he got caught in the bear trap. And,
me too. Like literally right at the beginning of the movie, I'm like, damn, like he's out for the count.
Yes, and then rewatching the trailer, for just a split second, you could see him leaning against Millicent Simmonds because she's helping him while he's limping. So I was like, oh, so it wasn't the trailer. We wouldn't think to look for that. And I did think though, and yes, I understand it's painful. He screamed too much. I thought, I understand that it's painful, but he did too much.
Yeah, I mean, I've never, stepped in a bear trap, so I don't know how. I'm sure it hurts a lot. But yeah, it was almost like, okay, like shut up. Like I just felt this like dread, but I think it worked in the film's favor because it's adding to the dread. But I do see what you're saying. It was a little much.
But yes, I agree about the Emily Blunt scene at the grave of her son. That was really good. Another thing I didn't notice too much. I mean, I noticed it. But some people had it as a pet peeve, like that Millicent Simmonds and Noah Jupe, it's supposed to be like just a minute later, and they obviously look a year older. I didn't notice it that much. It did not take me out of the movie at all,
no.
And it didn't distract me, but I know some people mentioned it.
I mean, I get that that's something that, people are going to complain about. To me, personally, I wasn't bothered by that at all. I want to, talk about the ending, go into a little bit more detail. I thought what John Krasinski did in that soundstage was brilliance. Like when she is stepping through that window and there's and the camera's going down, she almost steps on that mug, and then there's like some cassette tapes and there's like a piece of paper and it's just like silence and there's the creature. I was like, this is near perfect directing. Like what he's able to do, nothing's really crazy is happening. You just don't want her to step on a mug or anything. But the way he's able to build tension in that scene is just, it's amazing.
Yep, 100% agree. Yeah, don't have anything to add to that. That was just, that was so good. Yeah, you're on the edge of your seat.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think I had a better theater experience in the first one. I just think the first time it just felt so, didn't want to make a noise. You didn't want to eat popcorn. You didn't want to drink a drink. Yeah.
I'm really glad you brought that up, Dan, because I felt the same way. And I think the only thing is because the first time when I saw the first one, it was a sold out theater. And it was just just being in a theater packed full of people and having that silence was just, it was an experience. And with this one, there wasn't a lot of people in the theater. Once again, because we're still at what is it, 25% capacity. So it definitely, the experience wasn't as great. But I don't think that has anything to do with the movie itself. I think it just has to do with the fact it wasn't a packed theater.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, I agree. I will say though, the movie is also, they could talk more, so they can make noises more often. So that takes away a little bit. But I think this one had just as suspenseful scenes, just as greatly crafted scenes. But yeah, I'm
really happy actually that we were able to have the characters talk more in this one, because at the end of the day, once he does his third film, and I really hope that happens soon, and I really truly think this could be like one of the best film trilogies of all time. I really do. If he's able to close it out just as good as he made a sequel to it. But yeah, we were able to have them talk, and because if you watch them all in a row, 3 films with like barely any talking, I think that, we need a little bit more character development this time around. Okay, Dan, so do you want to get started ranking A Quiet Place?
Come on, PG, almost done with the review.
I'm trying my best now, but since Glee got through, they've been very hard to crack.
I think we're almost through, PG, and ta-da! We're through. Hello everyone, welcome to GeekyHiJinx, home of the Mischief Makers, and today I'm here to tell you about the Cinema Squad.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Lost in the Reel.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Upside Down.
How's it going, movie fans? My name is Jonathan and I am a man of movies.
Hello, welcome to GeekyHiJinx, home of the Mischief Makers.
These last couple of weeks have been a bit weird, to say the least.
Being targeted by a hacker who ended up being a frog under an alien mask and cloak was a revelation that YouTube can be more than what we make it.
Yeah, sorry about that.
But we're happy to announce that the madness isn't over yet.
Well, more like this madness has only just begun.
This experience may have been exhausting and confusing, but it wasn't without purpose.
Because we've been brought together by this, and it's time to make something of it.
We are the Cinema Squad.
We are the Cinema Squad.
We are the Cinema Squad.
Because we are the Cinema Squad. And every month we'll come together to bring you the best in movie content.
Both individually and assembled. Avengers style.
So be prepared.
Be prepared.
Be prepared.
Be prepared.
Because we are dying.
Because we're dying
To talk film
With all of you.
pretty tight, right? So make sure to check out the first video on Sean's channel, Lost in the Reel, and then check out my channel, Dan's and John's channel for future collaborations in the future. But until next time, stay out of trouble.
I'm excited. Okay, so Dan, do you want to rank A Quiet Place Part 2?
Yes. So my rating, I think, for A Quiet Place 2 would be 4.5 hearing aids out of 5.
I am going to give it a 4.25. And I would give the first one a 4.5. I think this one is a little bit less effective than the first one just because the ending to me didn't work as well, and also I didn't love that the characters were split up for most of its runtime. But this is still one of the best films of the year. This is going to be one of the best film trilogies of all time. I absolutely love this movie, and I really do hope that people, if they're willing to and able to, go to the movie theaters to see it, because even though, like we said, it wasn't as effective because we can't fill up a whole movie theater, it's still absolutely worth going to the theaters to see.
Yep, I 100% agree, and I said in my spoiler review, my spoiler-free review, I said that, like, this is one of the best sequels that we've gotten. And I said, I'm not sure yet, and like I said in the beginning, I like almost think it's almost as equal as the first one. I don't know, I loved this one.
Yeah, after a second viewing, you never know. I can't wait to watch the two together and see how that works.
Yes.
But, yeah.
That was another thing I wanted to say. This is like the definition of a back-to-back double feature.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Yes.
And I hope that he does the same thing with the third, because it'll just be a great viewing experience together.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Dan from the Upside Dan.
And this is Sean from Lost in the Reel. We will see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.